Oh, what a slice.
Gets broken.
Ooh, what a
It's gonna be
blistering
tough to get broken
backhand.
like
That
that.
was amazing.
Love it. He took kick his behind.
And Mason says not.
That's the shot. I like it.
Mason is just hitting his target so wow. Big backhand right to the green.
I think so.
That ball is dead. They are literally playing that ball. They literally destroyed the ball. Coach, get the ball. Get the ball. Okay, Marcelo, we are back for match number 2 of your high performance program here at Windy Hill. This is Marcel Ferreira. I'm Peter Freeman, Crunch Time Coaching. You're watching some awesome junior tennis here. Who do we have? What's the matchup today?
So we actually got our lefty from last week, James Wakefield. Last match, you guys got to watch him play against Simon Hayao, and he took care of business in 2 sets. He's got another challenge today. He's playing against Mason Taub. They've been friends for years. There's a lot of friendly rivalry over there. So it's going to definitely be a very interesting match to watch.
Yeah, so that's right. James, if you guys didn't know, he took out Simon,
Just
who
waiting
I
for
call the
Simon to
Met
come up with
most
something.
exhausting
He's trying to
player
just
from
dictate
Tennis
the
Troll,
points
which is a
more.
great channel. You guys should go over there and subscribe as well. Pretty convincingly. Now, what do you have to say here about Mason? You already know how James
the entire
what
time.
about Mason?
Lots of great things. You know, Mason really is right now in a big ascension in his game. I believe, in my opinion, he's playing the best tennis he's played. You know, he's a 9.2, 9.3 UTR. In 12s, he was ranked as high as number 3 in the country, and now he's making the climb in 14s. If I'm not mistaken, he's ranked around 40, 45 in the country in 14s. Heck of a tennis player, great aggressive baseliner, very complete overall. So James is going to have to really play good tennis today and play like a true lefty to be able to take Mason down.
Yeah, so Mason, literally one of the best juniors in the country right now. That's a tall order for James. Now, what's James' UTR for everybody who didn't watch last time?
James right now is somewhere around an A3, A4.
Okay, and Mason's at a 9. Is that almost impossible to beat somebody at a 9? If you're
No,
an 8,
no,
or?
not at all. And actually, I want to correct myself. James is actually higher than that. He's probably like an A5. I don't check UTR very, very often. So in these kids, they fluctuate so much. But I would say the difference between the two of them, UTR-wise, is 0.5, 0.6. So definitely not impossible. But right now, James will have to really play at a pretty solid level, and he's going to have to be able to maintain it for 2 sets to have a chance to take Mason down. However, one thing that we need to take into account, you've got to put that UTR difference aside. These kids, they grew up together. They've played against each other multiple times in tournaments and at the academy, so they know each other really well. So when you look at the UTR, you kind of favor Mason, but because of their friendship and the fact that they train together every day, it could be a lot closer.
All right, let's get it on. All right, guys, let's get it going. Looks like Mason is getting ready to serve here, so let's settle in. Go ahead. Nice out wide serve. One thing I want to say, Coach, I'm really happy to see all the kids seem to be improving their serve here, turning it more into a weapon, getting more physical, as you like to say.
More physical, I like to say, but one of the main reasons why these kids are starting to serve so much better is to my right here. The kids in our academy call Coach Freeman here the serve guru. He's been preaching to these kids so much the importance of working on their serves. Whenever we're not watching, sometimes we have 2-hour practices with the entire group just focusing on serves. So the improvement is definitely obvious. Coach is always bringing his iPad and doing a lot of analysis. It's very, very special.
Yeah. Definitely they're getting better. That was a pretty good point there. James had a good position on the volley, but those high backhand volleys are tricky. So now Mason up 30 love. Mason reminds me, interested to get your thought on this, a little bit like Djokovic, just kind of solid all over the place. Seems like a nightmare opponent who hits a tough ball, gets to everything, and can hit winners.
I can see that. I can see that. He's definitely somebody who does a very good job behind the baseline. He can play heavy, but he's been getting better and better at transitioning and taking balls on the rise and trying to hurt you a little bit more. As you can see right now, he's not even really going after his first serve. He's just looking more for placement and trying to put a lot of kick on the ball. But you see, like, he's setting up the point, and every opportunity he's got to take the ball earlier and dictate, he takes it.
Ooh, solid game. I noticed right there, be interesting to see if he keeps doing that. Looks like he was going after that backhand. Every serve at the backhand. Seems like a lot of those first balls heavy at the backhand. So James is going to have to step up his backhand today.
And that's the thing, he's already showing James that he's going to try to keep James away from being able to dictate his forehand to Mason's backhand, which is how he most likely wants to play. It's a great plan to be able to start right off the bat showing James, hey, if you don't move around and think outside the box, I'm going to bang every ball to your backhand.
Mm-hmm. So how can James counter that? What would you tell James to do to not have to hit so many backhands? Where should he go with his ball when he has to hit a backhand?
Well, when it comes to returns, I'd love to see James trying to return those serves straight towards Mason's body. By doing that, he can jam him, take some of the angles away, and be able to hopefully, within 2 shots, run around the backhand and start dictating things with his forehand.
Just missed that long. That was a great setup by Mason. I would have preferred him to go short in the box. I always tell the kids, come in, box the volley. Went deep, missed it.
We created a new verb, we tell the kids to beat the volley. Just beat it.
Yeah. Right, 15 low. Mason appears to have no nerves. You would think playing on camera for YouTube, but he's played so many big matches. Tell everybody some of the big matches he's played, national tournaments, state big tournaments. What is he used to going out there pressure-wise?
Well, because of the level of tennis that Mason has been able to play, especially this past 2 years, he's had the opportunity to play all the major tournaments in the country. So he's there you go. He's played, the Orange Bowl and Eddie Hood, lots of level 1 tournaments. He's been to Easter Bowl in California. So he's had some exposure that some of our players right now are aiming to get to. So because he's been able to play against some of those top players in the country and some even international, I guess, he can manage pressure a little bit better.
Yeah, looks solid coming out. Second serve. I think James is up 30-15 though so far. And that last point, he played a solid point. Love the way he finished.
Didn't like how he hit the second serve.
No,
he's not really
shaky.
going for it. Yeah, he's just shaky.
Okay, better. That physicality on the backhand, really going after Mason.
Very physical, both of them, and I like how they're stepping into the ball, and it's coming down to a lot of pride. Like, hey, you're gonna hit the ball, I'm gonna hit it back.
Yeah.
I like the quality of the
good
so
quality,
far.
Very good quality match so far. Good serve.
Okay.
Good serve. James also getting more and more free points off his serve. 6 months ago, he was getting like no free points off his serve.
But I think not only they improved their technique, but they have a much better understanding on how to place it. You know, neither kids right now, one serving game each, they didn't go for big serves, but they're really trying to place it well. Again, went to the backhand.
Paid off. That was the first shaky looking backhand.
Yeah, you know, like he could have been a little bit more physical on the ball, just used his legs and try to knife the ball a little bit more. He hit that slice backing up.
Big kick. Big kick, sir. That's a Mason specialty.
Not only a great kick, but you also need to take into account the change of placement. Okay, that's his 7th or 8th serving point. It is the first time he's going to the forehand. So I guarantee you that James was somehow cheating over to the backhand side, and he got surprised with a very good kick to the forehand. Using some variation. No, using some great variation.
Just wide, just wide.
Rushed a little bit. You know, he got caught with that ball. I would have liked for him to kind of try to hit the ball back through the middle and reset the point.
Totally agree.
But it just shows why hitting that ball through the body can be so efficient, because a lot of players will try to hit that same exact ball. Instead of going back to the middle, they'll try to open up the court too early. And you see a lot of wide mistakes. You see the pros a lot of times working the point through the middle, through the body, to try to wait for the shorter ball and then open up the court.
Ooh, nice deep return. Nice deep return. All of a sudden looked like a routine hold. Now all of a sudden 40-30.
Yeah.
First kind of pressure point, I'd say, for Mason. Let's see how he handles it.
Let's see how both of them handle it, right? I would love to see James showing Mason, hey, I'm going to play to win here. I'm going to try to take the game from you and not just expect and hope that you're going to give me something for free.
Wow, great point. I mean, that point started out, you would think James would be in control of that. He got a couple big forehands in there, and then Mason was able to corral that away and hold. That's got to be a nice relief.
No doubt, because James was little by little creeping in and again.
All right, 2-1 Mason.
But very pleased with the way both of them are playing so far.
Yeah, this is a really good quality match. Also love the body language. They're both just focused, going about their business.
Yeah. James needs to make sure, because Mason does a very good job hitting balls on the rise and stepping in. And James, we talked about it last week, how he's got a lot of RPM on the forehand especially. That's the ball that he needs to use a lot and take advantage and try his very best to push Mason back and keep his favorite shots away from him, which is taking the ball on the rise.
Okay, let's see if James can keep up here. Fell away from that one.
Very slow recovery. As we watched that point, you know, he served and just watched. So after the ball had already bounced, that's when he actually started reacting to it. I would like to see him a little bit more proactive. Hit and recover, be ready.
Okay, that's got to feel good. Just what the doctor ordered there for James.
All of these kids getting ready. You know, the end of the month we got Beach State. It's a big tournament here in the region. I'm assuming that most of our kids will be in it.
Turn.
Yeah, but it was a shaky second serve.
He definitely looks like he's getting slow off the mark. Now he's fiddling with his foot. I'm not sure if there's something going on there, or if he's just maybe starting to get a little tentative. Got to come out big on this point. That's one thing. I like the way Mason sometimes goes that chip forehand just to throw off the pace. He doesn't overdo it.
Yes.
I think he does it just about the right amount.
Yeah. Mason right now is definitely using a lot of variation and not hitting predictable shots.
Just when I say he doesn't overdo it, he does it twice in a row, and he shouldn't have done it there. That was not a good time to do that. I liked it the first time, but the second one I would have preferred a heavy, big return, which he's so good at. Turn, man, he really got that backhand off the court. There's our first break.
I believe it just
Let's see how James
3-1.
responds. Yeah, 3-1.
not a break
Until
until you hold.
Just a little wide. You'd love to have that back.
See, but you know, like Mason should have been a lot more professional on that ball and just put it away down the line. You know, the court was wide open, and he knows how fast James is.
I think he thought the return might have been going out, so he kind of was a little bit.
He got very lucky there.
Return.
It's really good, really good.
Mason is executing. He's such a good match player. We were playing yesterday practice. You know, he was, I wouldn't say he wasn't trying, but he just was not in the zone. They were having trouble just getting rallies going. Now coming out here today, he's not missing at all.
Right.
Amazing.
But we need to make sure that those ups and downs don't happen so frequently. Whenever he's on, he's a tough player to beat. Both of them.
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
very complete. But like every other 13, 14-year-old, they can get pretty emotional sometimes. So well played.
Wow,
So
corner
well
to
played.
corner. Mason looking a little bit like Djokovic. The camera's not even picking that up. He did a Djokovic slide off the court. But James kept
He almost
his
had a
head.
full split.
It was good. That's another kicker. Really makes it up nice.
And that's what's so unfortunate, and to not be able to build off of such a nice point, build up on it.
Okay, that's
Just rushed so
one.
much. Yeah.
Coach, I think this might be a good time to take a little coaching time out. What do you think? You want to talk to your player?
Sure. Here's the thing. Hitting the ball well doesn't mean hitting the right shots. While you're definitely striking the ball super well, you know that Mason does such a good job taking balls on the rise and stepping in. I'd love to see you using your heavy forehands, trying to push him back a little bit, and then as you get those shorter balls, you can either play super aggressively and coming behind it, or bring him in. You got the touch, but right now the way you're playing, you're looking great, but you're not pushing him back so much. So try to use a little bit more variation, and I guarantee you're going to be back in the set. Okay? Mason just asked me, so you're coaching James, giving him tips to beat me. So does that mean that everybody on social media and YouTube will be able to know how to beat me?
I got an interesting comment after this. So this year, Coach, I do this thing called the Grand Slam Call of the Month with Gigi Fernandez. We got to interview Bob Bryan.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he made a course with Will Hamilton. They did the Bryan Brothers playbook. And they thought they were just making it for recreational players. And all of a sudden he noticed that all these players on tour, they'd have the actual playbook in their bag. And his wife said, you should have never done that course with Will.
So 30 love here.
30 love.
You know, he needs this game.
Yeah, it's a big game. Big game. Got to keep the pressure on.
And the thing is, you know, like 2 points that Mason pretty much just gave it away. So I really want these kids, whenever they have a lead like 4-1, I want them to play as if they're down 1-4. So sometimes they take the lead and they let up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, what a slice. That's a tough one. You know, how do you do that? Last night the Warriors, they like Klay Thompson said, I want to go in. We didn't intend on losing. We wanted to win the game. They lost by like 39 points. They were down by 55 points at one time. How do you not let that happen? You know what I mean?
No, really.
They had a closeout game. What I'm saying, basketball. They were 3-1. So they wanted to win. They were up.
Right.
Then they lost by 39 points.
Right.
Professional team.
You know, like, because it's human tendency, right? When you get the lead, it's very normal to just feel relaxed. Okay, I got this in a pocket, and that's where the greats really separate themselves from the rest. You know, like, because they know how to stay disciplined and focused, and they know exactly what they did to take them to that moment. But the other thing is, you know, even in the pros, you see some of the top players letting up when they get the lead. The only difference is they realize they're letting up very fast.
Yes.
So they might play 1 or 2 average points, and right away they're able to get back on track.
Yeah.
A lot of junior players, they'll deviate from what they're doing, and they realize they're no longer doing it after 4 games. And now they're like, crap, I was up 4-1, I'm down 5-4. How is that possible?
Okay, here we go. 4-2 serving.
This game could potentially change the dynamic, the total dynamic of the match. If Mason gets broken,
Ooh, what a
it's going to be tough
blistering
to get broken
backhand.
like that.
That was amazing. He really cranked that up. No hesitation there, Coach.
But it's what I told James just a couple of minutes ago. He's got to do a better job just using the ground and trying to create more bite on his ball to keep Mason pinned back. Mason is stepping into his shots way too much.
Yeah, I do feel James, especially with his forehand, has the ability to take that forehand up another level or 2 over the net,
Yes.
and heaviness-wise.
Sometimes he can look too nonchalant hitting his forehand because he's able to generate so much pace and topspin on it, even when he's falling back a little bit. But that's the thing, you know, to play at the highest level, he's got to make sure that he's anticipating the shot, putting his body in the proper position to be able to penetrate on the ball a little bit more. Even if for some reason he's falling backwards, I want to see a little bit more of hip engagement so he can bring that hip forward and drive the ball a little bit more.
Good return.
Good return. Love it.
So the
High
players
level.
played
High
well.
level.
I
High
mean,
level.
that was impressive.
I feel like the only time in the point that James could have done a little bit more was actually the first forehand, right after the return. Yeah, I believe it was the second ball. He hit a forehand on the run that was a little bit shorter. He should have gone wide, and he went to the body, which gave Mason the chance to run around the backhand and start dictating with the forehand.
Oh, there we go. 30 off. Big point.
See, but those are the things that you rarely see with high-level players. They just worked so hard the last point. Mason earned it and then just gave it away.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's when he needs to take his time in between points and remind himself, man, I just worked so hard for this point. I'm gonna make James beat me. But instead, he just gave the point away within 2 shots.
James jumping around like a boxer. Brings him out in the corner. Nice, nice.
Looked like he got caught with the return a little bit, but he worked.
I really love before the serve he went in on. I'm feeling James on this point. 'Cause
Well,
he
he
was
definitely,
bouncing
yeah.
around. It looked like he really wanted
and
it.
we preach to these kids all the time, right? You know, like you need to show your opponent that you're ready to kick his behind.
And Mason says, "Not today. No, no, no." Wow.
Denied, baby.
Wow. That hurts. That hurts.
Yes.
So Mason, this adds, or a deuce. Are we playing with that? So I think this is the first deuce game.
It is. They're asking because we play a lot without ads. I try to get these kids to get used to the Division I format, so we play without ads a lot.
Oh, yeah. Just never really got set there and then tried to do too much with that ball.
That's the thing, you know, the ball was somewhat short. You know, he did have the opportunity to step into it, but they need to have better awareness to realize, okay, I'm not in position
Yeah, it was
to
not.
go for the shot. I wanted to go for the shot, but I didn't get to the ball perfectly positioned. That's the shot. I like it.
I like that one play Mason just did. He got in trouble there, and then he went high over the net to buy
Yeah,
himself some time.
yeah.
Little subtle shot that probably saved the point there. James is frustrated. He's been keeping his emotions so good. but-
Without a doubt, you know, like he had a break point and Mason earned it. Just played very courageous tennis right there and went for that inside out forehand. This last point, I felt like James got caught with his forehand twice. So he needs to do a better job running around that backhand and really creating the space, because when he's able to penetrate on the forehand, he can do a lot of damage. But if he goes into that side spin mode, the ball is going to die down mid-court, and that's when Mason's going to be able to really cause a lot of damage. This first set, even though Mason is up 5-2, I feel like he's still up for grabs.
Well, they're both playing well, and you know, I've watched them both play a lot of tennis, and I would say they're both playing at a good level for their game. And James has been playing well, competing well. It's not, the scoreboard doesn't show that, so he's got to know that and keep competing. Right, 3 points always help.
Let's see if James can hold his and put some pressure on Mason, serving at 5-3. So good lefty serve.
Ooh. So the Yeah, he had the open court.
Had the open court, you know, I think he probably thought, okay, let me try to catch him on the wrong foot because he assumed he was going to start running that ball down. But he wasn't well positioned to hit that ball. He was falling back, sticking his butt out. It's a great shot.
I like the shot before too. That was a little higher, and it made Mason have a little bit of mistiming there. I think he'd do a little more of that because it seems like Mason is getting more and more grooved on James's shot right now. There's got to be some gear changing, or else Mason might start running away with it because they're both hitting great, but Mason's just hitting better.
Right, but Mason is doing a heck of a job dealing James's pace, and that's why I really feel like he needs to change a little bit, start slicing a little bit. Is what I told him. Either find ways to put more bite on your ball, to move Mason back and coming behind and try to finish at the net, or moving back and bring him in with a couple of drop shots. Because right now, as well as he's hitting the ball, he's becoming way too predictable.
Nice change. I think I got lucky there. See, he went. I noticed he goes one heavy, and then the next one he's always going hard. I don't think there's anything wrong going 2-3 heavy. What do you think about that?
No, not at all. Because you know, like I want him to change the pace on that ball when he feels like he's got the perfect shot to step in, but also when Mason is not so well positioned. You know, like he should definitely insist on 2-3 heavy balls and get Mason out of his comfort zone.
I think this is 30 offs, another massive point. Mason is just hitting his target so well today, corner to corner. I know there's a lot of jealous people out there watching on YouTube going, man, I wish I started. That's what I hear from most from adults. Man, I wish I started at that age. And they're always talking about kids like this.
And it's just so rewarding to see these kids. You know, like I've been around James since he was 10 and Mason since he was 11. And it's just so rewarding and exciting to see how far they have come in just 3 years. These are two kids that are on the perfect path to be very, very solid D1 players.
Absolutely. Ooh, yeah, so any coaches, if you're out there watching, any college coaches, subscribe to the channel because you can start to get a real good look. A lot of great talent coming up. These kids 13, 14 years old, or they're both 13?
So Mason actually just turned 14 a couple of weeks ago.
Young 14.
Yeah.
And 13 hitting the ball like this.
Yeah.
And they work super hard. They're super focused. So keep watching them.
We got a couple more, probably like 3 or 4. Another like really, really solid 13, 14-year-olds.
Big shot. Oh, I'm so happy he made that because that could have been a tough one.
Right, and he needs to do that more often. Just like move Mason back or out to the corners and come in and finish some points at the net. Because as well as he's hitting the ball, most of the baseline points, Mason is coming out on top. great tennis. It's great tennis.
That's another shot I don't think James had 2 or 3 months ago. I mean, he was down low, backhand, and rifled across court. That's something new. That's getting better. And I love how he fought his way through that game. I mean, that easily could have been Mason's game, Mason's set.
Yeah, and James has finally embraced his backhand. You know, at first he used to tell me, oh, I want my backhand to be heavy like my forehand. And I love that they're both so different. And the opponents don't have the opportunity to get used to a certain ball. He likes to play heavy here, flatter here, but he's doing a better job staying down, being able to clear his backhands a lot better. Should have hit the ball.
Yeah, I think the sun was in his eye, coach.
Oh, maybe.
Wow. Bails himself out of trouble. James didn't get close enough to the net there.
You can feel the energy and the tension. They both know how important this game is.
Absolutely.
You could just tell in the first point of the game how much they wanted it.
Big backhand right to the core.
Huge, because the return was very average. Gave the chance for Mason to really dictate the point again. He was too far back, but he was able to cut across, take the ball on the rise, and open up the court. Beautiful.
That's second serve.
Let's see what James does here. Should be putting some pressure with the way he moves. Just there you go.
Hits it. Do you like that rip, or was that?
I mean, like I don't mind the aggressiveness, you know, but I felt like the movement wasn't great enough, and he got caught. Again, he needs to realize if he's not in good position, just try to put the ball in play and wait for the next opportunity.
Second serve. Way to make him play the extra ball.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one of the first signs of tightness from Mason there.
But also, I felt like
pull that one.
got a little bit too fancy there. He wanted to go for that jumping backhand. You know, I think he could have been a little bit simpler and just get the job done.
Stay on the ground. Make
Stay on the ground, make the shot. The court's wide open. So, you know, like he saw the advantage, 30-15, 5-3. Let me just go for a big one. And it could easily cost him the game. Oh, what a game.
Oh, wow. James fighting his heart out. Great fight from James. Got to give Mason the credit, because I felt like the whole game's been kind of holding back, a little afraid to go for it. And then big point, starts pulling the trigger early in the point. With good targets, though.
40-30.
Yeah. Set point. Volley on set point. Good lob.
Go in.
Yeah.
See.
And waiting too long.
Yes. So see that hesitation. I mean, like he lobbed Mason perfectly, and within one shot, Mason was back at the net.
Yeah.
Mason was back at the net.
Yeah.
So you retrieve a great shot. You're able to lob your opponent, put him completely up against the fence. You should be kissing the net.
I think that's, yeah.
Because Mason needs to see, you know, like as we are retrieving a tough ball like that, we're watching our opponent. The moment that Mason sees James coming in, he's now probably hitting a completely different shot. But because he saw James staying back, he didn't feel the need to come up with an amazing shot.
Yeah, I think that's one of the few things that juniors back in my day actually did better than what we see the kids today. I mean, in my day, you hit a lob over there. As soon as they turn their back, you're running in.
Yes.
And I notice a lot of kids, and even the pros today, sometimes will hit great lobs and stay back at the baseline.
Yes.
I don't understand it. All right, second set. All right, boys, we're ready. Second set. Here we go, rock and roll. So what did you say to James after that first set?
Well, I told him that first of all, Mason burned it. You know, like he beat James for the most part. You know, so I was pleased with the way he played overall. But that right now, even though he's striking the ball well, he's not hitting the right shots to bother Mason. Mason has been able to hold the baseline pretty much the entire match, and not allowing for a lot of variety from James. So I love to see James throwing some junk at Mason, whether it's like a couple of moon balls just to take the pace off and maybe push him back a little bit, hit some drop shots or slices. Because right now Mason is just super confident, striking the ball super well, stepping into every single shot. So hopefully James is willing to play a little bit ugly in order to chip away at Mason's confidence a little bit.
Yeah. 15 all.
See, that's too short.
Did he play that? Is it in or out?
Ball was up. It was up.
Okay. 35.
Tossing the ball too far behind him. Great shot.
Good shot. Good shot.
So is that 40-15 now?
40-15.
Okay.
You'd love to get out of here with an easy hold.
I want to see if Mason's going to maintain the energy and the commitment in the beginning of the second set. Sometimes he does that in tournaments. You come out, play amazing, and then he lets up and digs himself a huge hole, and then he's always swimming upstream the entire second set.
That is a big energy point. But yeah, I do definitely feel the intensity on both ends, actually.
Yes.
Even though James is
Yes.
up 40-30, I feel like the intensity has dropped off a little bit.
It's just like little things. It's not something that is extremely obvious. You can just see in the way that getting ready for the serve, for the return, the movement in between shots,
Yeah.
even the grunting.
Little chip. Now we're at deuce, so now it becomes a tough hole.
Yeah. Something that felt like it was going to happen quite easily. It always started with a 40-15, just missing easy forehand deep.
Okay, add in. I really feel James needs to hold here because even though he's up and had chances, I feel like his energy is a little lower than Mason's even. Good serve.
Stay with it. Stay with it. think so.
That ball is dead. They are literally playing that ball. They literally destroyed the ball. Coach, get the ball. Get the ball. I got it. You got it?
This is what we're teaching our kids.
They literally destroyed the ball. Mason, you want to come here and see what you did to the ball? Get in the camera. Get over here. Be proud of this. This is what you just did to the ball. And then, you can't teach that.
And you guys kept playing the point.
James, you want to come see the ball?
It's a let, right?
It's not a let.
Yeah, it's a let, for sure.
No, why would that be a let? That's how the game goes. Did you ever watch The Natural when you're too young? Trust me, that's a real point. That counts. Yeah. Would that be a let in a tournament?
I think
Would
so.
it?
Yeah.
All right, let. It shouldn't be. If I was making the rules up, no let on a destroyed ball. You play it out.
It's embarrassing that we are not certain, but to be completely honest with you, I don't remember this happening during a point.
Comment below. I've never seen it. Comment below. My gut says the point should stand because it just should.
I don't think I've ever been part of this situation. In the middle of a point, a ball breaking.
Replay the point. YouTube comment. Let us know. Should it be played or not? I don't know.
Even though I love the volley, James.
If I were making the rules, that point would count.
We hit a double fault, please. Jinxed it.
Double fault. James won that point too, right?
He did.
And now we took it away from him? He deserved to win that, Coach. I don't care what the rule is. In my league, that counts.
We got to play by the rules.
Can't we have our own league, Coach? We're doing this for YouTube. We should make our own little rules. And that would be the first rule I would put in there.
If the ball breaks, just keep playing the point.
The ball breaks, keep playing the point. There will never be automated line calling here. We want to see arguments. He's in danger of double calling twice in a row.
That's 3 missed serves in a row.
James has completely lost his focus.
Again, he needs to snap out of it.
He needs to.
Just snap out of it and understand that it's such an important game. And he's got the game on his racket. He's got to just refocus and get the job done.
Thank goodness for James there. He got away with a lucky one. Routine miss.
Popped up, and that wasn't too tough of a serve. He had the chance to step in and take the ball on the rise. Got way too casual on the return.
There you go. Nice finish by James, just as a serve. Ever since Deflategate, we've had our own Deflategate here. The quality did go down. They were focused on that one point.
Peter here just trying to come up with his own rule book.
I think that's a good idea. There's some rules that need to change in tennis.
Such as?
Well, I mean, just such as that. If that's a real rule, I mean, if they played a football game and the football started to do whatever in the middle of play, they're going to play out that for sure. They're not going to say that didn't count.
If they're playing a basketball game and the ball is completely flat, would they keep playing?
Ooh, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's
if the baseball is busted,
they would play. Yeah, if you hit the ball,
pitcher,
if you hit the ball and it went out, they'd play that ball and then they'd put in a new ball.
No, but the pitcher wouldn't throw a busted ball.
No, but he would. But if you threw a busted ball and it got hit, right? If the ball got hit and busted, they'd play that out.
Right, but it wouldn't impact because this is just impacting the bounce.
Anyway, I also would not have automated line calling. What do you think about that?
Talking about Eagle Eye?
I'm talking about where they just literally don't have lines people now. They just automated line calling. There's no lines people on the court for a lot of tournaments. I hate that. Okay, approach shot.
I guess you can trust computers more than people.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. I want there to be bad calls and people going crazy.
Oh, you like that?
I love that. It's the only thing that's going to get on ESPN.
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
All right, let's get back to the match.
So well, I don't know who got the first point. I know James got the second. Going. See him like, what is he doing staying back? I mean, think about what he did with that forehand to his backhand. He was reaching for that backhand. He comes in, he can just dink that forehand volley to the open court. But instead of doing that, he stayed back, allowed Mason to kind of get back in the right position, and then hit that forehand on the run. That half a second of hesitation is going to cost him. Good return. Otherwise, take it. Here we go. Take it.
Good point by James. Could have taken that one ball more inside in, but I think he just mistimed it. They continue to ball out here.
Some good points.
Lots
still.
of great points. You guys are enjoying this content. If you like to watch these juniors go at it every week, make sure to comment and like it so we know to put more of this stuff out here. Bails out on that forehand. You don't see that very much from Mason.
Yeah.
So Mason's showing a little bit of hanging his head. What do you predict he comes out here? Does he get back to work there, or is he going to let this good serve? So there's your answer right there.
Yeah, like it's too much of a guessing game, but so far Mason has not seemed at all phased by some of those tough moments. Like he had that break point. James had that break point to bring the match to 5-4, and he played unreal. Same thing now. He's not getting the foot off the pedal. He's really taking the match to James right now.
Okay.
Ended up hammering that ball down way too much. I would have loved for him to create more shape. Because here's the thing, like the heavier and deeper you hit that approach shot, you're giving yourself more time to close in.
Yes.
So many times kids try to hit the ball so hard and flat down. Yeah, but depending on where you are on the court, the ball is traveling so fast, giving you no time to actually come in and get in position to put away the ball.
That's another missing link we gotta get a little better at. We're coming in, then we find ourselves at the service box.
Yeah.
And then we're getting past. We can't have that.
And then we think that the volleys are not good. No, your positioning is horrible. You got some music back there? Serve, that's his second serving game. in the second set, it doesn't look as crisp as the first set. Great shot.
A winner out of the corner.
The fist bump, you know, like, I like to see that. He needs to show me, show Mason that he's ready to fight back and try to take the second.
That was amazing. James got to be really careful here. He's starting to almost every point have little conversations with himself.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
There you
he's
go.
getting close. You can kind of talk yourself into it like you're playing worse than you are.
There's no
You know?
doubt. There's no doubt.
He's still right there.
They need to understand that if they say they can, they can. If they say they can't, they can't. You know, they keep talking themselves into playing even worse because they convince themselves that the confidence is not there, the forehand is not there, the backhand is not there. Negativity is way more powerful than positivity. If these kids make 2-3 negative comments, they're them playing catch up the entire set.
Okay, there's your slice.
Good.
Good response from Mason there, though. That was
Yeah,
a tough
yeah.
ball.
The thing is, he's not using those different shots enough. We'll see a slice every 2 games. We haven't seen one drop shot. James came in maybe twice the entire match.
There he goes. Oh. But that's the tough thing about playing Mason. Unless you're perfect with some of these shots, he's going to get there and he's going to do
coming
damage.
back. He's coming back and he's going to come back tough.
Good return. Good return.
Right through the body again. You know, it's such an underutilized shot, just jamming people right at their gut.
Yeah, that's tough because now you got a solid deep return with a lot of pace and spin, and now we
Yeah.
got the shade there too.
Yes.
So
So instead of trying to paint the lines, you know, like just build the point, like using the fat part of the court.
ooh, Mason had him on the hook, let him off the hook. Big game right here.
Big game, and he needs it so bad. I feel like right now, you know, he's hitting the ball well, but he's letting the ball come to him too much, James. He needs to start taking some of those balls earlier and rush Mason a little bit.
Mason, one of the rare gifts of the match. Weak, short ball by James. Mason had it all lined up and just
Movement wasn't
Yeah.
really sharp coming up to the ball. Great return.
this is a brutal game.
Great
They
game.
can both feel the momentum of this game.
Right, and it all came from another great return to his body. James is having to handle Mason's return as soon as he recovers from his serve. It feels like right now Mason is the one dictating the game.
Yes. Great point. Yeah, I really feel that Mason feels like if I get the break here, I might start to roll.
The other thing is James hasn't really tried to explore going to Mason's body, especially seeing how well he's returning. He's got to take the ball away from his wings. No more body. Yeah.
Right there. Missed it. Did he miss that wide? Yeah.
He seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, James thinking maybe that was in. I think that's wishful thinking.
It seemed to be out from
Yeah, it
here.
seemed to be out.
Yeah.
Both these kids seem to call pretty clean lines. And there's the break.
But that clearly was a frustration moment, that came from the previous point. Just rushed so much, hit a ball without any quality to the bottom of the net. So after fighting so hard to try to win that game, he just bailed out, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's
2-1 Mason.
I'm gonna turn this off.
See, that's really well played. That's
Very
really
good
well
throws.
played because I see so many kids letting that ball just float and drop. And as he realized it was going to be a floater, he closed
not
in and
wait.
intercepted the ball earlier.
Watching Mason here today, there's James hasn't found anything he can't do.
Okay.
Look at that. Should have been in on that. Wow. See, that's that Djokovic quad I was talking about. The first point, he plays aggressive, comes and puts it away, then he plays defense the next point.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
variety.
Second set, James is definitely rushing the point a lot more and making more mistakes on his backhand than he did in the first set. His first set backhand was so solid and clean. But he's always stemming from being a little bit frustrated.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
The full work is not there anymore. You don't see him jumping, getting ready for the return. This is why it's so cool to be able to do this, because they're going to be able to watch themselves and see the difference in their demeanor, the way they're moving.
Mason's locked into the court. You can see it. He just is getting in position. He's delivering heavy blows, more and more confidence with each swing, and I think he smells the blood in the water. Like, I can run away with this.
Oh, big game here. Let's see if James can find ways to survive in this match. Okay, but
What about that?
you see where James now
He's back.
made Mason play from.
Yep.
Okay, and that's what I've been wanting from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Mason has been able to step into the ball and play close to the baseline the entire time. force him to make some mistakes from farther back. Heavy again. That's really great defense.
Great
there.
defense.
That's
Deep in
really
the
good
corner.
defense. No. You can tell the serve hasn't really had any bite in the second set. Okay,
Get off that ball.
here you go, James. Great turn. He handled it really well too. See, we're getting those balls to bounce a little bit higher and deeper.
25.
Gotta play ugly sometimes, bud. And that's actually not even ugly. He's hitting good shots.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah,
3-2.
it was. Let's see, but those are the shots that James cannot give Mason. You know, the short ball, because it gives him the chance to step into it.
Well, this goes to show you what a competitive match it is. It's already 7 o'clock. That's when we have to stop and other people have the courts. What do you think about today's match?
I'm really, really pleased with what I saw from my boys. You know, the quality was super high. I just feel like, again, it goes back to understanding that hitting the ball well doesn't mean that you're playing right. You know, like a lot of kids, they'll get off the court and be like, I don't know how I lost. I hit the ball so clean. That doesn't mean that you made the right decisions and your decision making was sharp. James played, he struck the ball really well and he fought really hard, but his ball, some of his shots ended up bouncing too short, and Mason, credit to him because he played well. I feel like when you look at the scoreboard, he was up, 3-2 in a second and won the first set. James didn't lose, Mason won. So I'm very pleased with the aggressiveness they had throughout the entire match, using a lot of variation, good movement, and overall their demeanor was a great representation of what we try to teach these kids at the academy.
I agree. Great match. So the score right there, Mason was up 6-3, 3-2. This is part one. We'll definitely have them come back and finish the match for part two. So if you like what you saw today, you know what to do. Comment below, subscribe, and like the video, and we'll continue to post more of these. See you then.